You are welcome to another video tutorials. Today we are going to look at two email terminologies which are very important, especially when we want to send email messages to our recipient. And these two important email terminologies are the BCC and the CC. And we are going to identify the location and also how to use the CC and the BCC, as well as to identify the differences between the CC and the BCC. The CC stands for carbon copy and the BCC stands for blind carbon copy. And these two important email terminologies have their operations or functions in the email message window when it comes to composing email messages. So we are going to identify these terminologies and also find out their differences. So let's get started. Now, as I said earlier, these email terminologies are the carbon copy, which stands for the CC, and also the blind carbon copy. Now we are going to have some brief description about these two email terminologies. So we are going to start with the carbon copy. Now, the carbon copy is a terminology in the email interface that helps us send email messages to our recipient, and all these recipients are going to receive the exact copy of the email when we use the carbon copy. And especially when it comes to replying all these recipients using the reply all option in the email interface. So using the carbon copy, if the sender sends messages to two or more recipients, what happens is that all the recipients are going to receive the exact message, and also they'll be able to identify whoever was carbon copied or whoever has received the exact message. So whenever they open their inbox, they are going to identify those who have received the messages and also the exact message that was sent. Now the CC functions exactly like the to field. Now whenever you want to send a message in your email interface, the to field is the default field that you have, and it works similar to the carbon copy. So this means that automatically or by default the carbon copy is selected. Therefore, the purpose of the CC is to simply keep someone in the loop. When we say loop, that is whatever that goes on, especially when we are communicating or sending and receiving information to two or more recipients using the carbon copy feature. It acts like the loop option. That is, whenever a message is received among all these recipients, they are all going to realize whoever has the message and whoever the message was sent to. And as you can see here, it is often called a courtesy copy. So the function of the carbon copy helps us to send message to two or more recipients, and they have to notice or identify whoever has received the message and also the exact message that was sent. Now, the blank carbon copy. In this feature, all recipients will receive the exact copy of the email. However, they do not see further responses in the thread. That is, this acts the opposite of the carbon copy. All recipients are going to receive the message, but when it comes to responses or replying messages, no one is going to see whoever has the message. That is, when the message is sent to all these recipients, they only receive the message based on their address, and they have no idea of whoever has received the message. So what happens is that the other recipient of the email will not see who is blind carbon copied. So if the carbon copy is used to send message to two or more recipients, no one will ever have an idea of whoever has received the message. The BCC is most commonly used for mass emails. That is, if you want to send private message to two or more, or that is more than 10-20 recipients, you can use the blank carbon copy. And that is, this message will be sent to all these 10 or 20 recipients, but they will never have an idea of whoever has the message. And also, it protects the recipient privacy. by hiding their email addresses, so no one is going to recognize an email address of such message. Additionally, the email is clean without a long list of recipients. So as compared to the carbon copy, if a message is received, you have a long list of all recipient address. But for blind carbon copy, you are going to have a single recipient address with the message. So these are the differences between the carbon copy and the blind carbon copy. Let's have a brief practical on how this works in our email interface. Now, you make sure that you are logged in or sign in into your email account, and when you sign in or log in, you are going to have your interface as compared to mine. So this is my email account interface, and if I want to access the carbon copy or the BCC, which is the blank carbon copy, I'm going to click on the compose button at the top left corner. Now, when you click on the compose button, you are going to get this new message window, and currently or by default, you can see that the cursor is blinking in the to field. Now, when you want to send a message to only one person or one recipient, you can use the to field. If you want to use 2 or more recipients, then it is advisable for you to use the carbon copy or the blank carbon copy. And for you to locate the carbon copy, which is the CC, and also the blank carbon copy, which is the BCC, you move to the right side of the to field, and you are going to see these 2 options here, which are the CC and the BCC. Now, if you want to use the carbon copy, what you have to do is to click on it once, and this is going to expand the CC field. You are going to have the CC field here as well as the to field. Now, by default, whenever you click on the compose button, when you type 2 or more recipients in the to field, it works similar to the carbon copy, which is the CC. But if you want to exactly use the carbon copy, then the better option is to click on the CC to expand the CC field. Now that we have the CC expanded, we are going to click on the BCC so that we can also have the BCC field expanded. Now, we are going to start with the CC. As we said earlier, we said the CC or the carbon copy allows you to send message to 2 or more recipients, which gives a clear view for all recipients to see whoever has received the message as well as the content attached to it. So let's try to use the CC and see how it works. So I'm going to click in the CC field and type the recipients for this particular message, and I'm going to use 2 email address here, which is my personal email address. Now, after typing the first email address, what you do is you press the space bar on the keyboard, and this is going to keep the email address in the field. Then we type the next email address. Now I have finished typing the recipient address for this particular message. Then I'm going to give a brief subject to this message. So I'm going to type something very short. Then in the compose area, I'm going to type something very simple, some simple message to the recipient. Now I am done with my compose option. So what I am going to do next is to click on the send button. Now this message has been sent to this recipient. So I'm going to log in into the recipient address. Now I have logged in into the other recipient address, and this is the interface. When you come below the compose button, we have this inbox tab here, and this is where all received messages are being stored or received. Therefore, when I click on this, you can see I have some number indication here, which tells me that I have one message unread. And in my previous video on how to access and reply email messages, I said if you have read a message in your inbox, you are going to have this light text appearance, and if you have a new message which is not read, you are going to have this dark or bold text appearance in your inbox. So now this is the current message I have received in my inbox, and I'm going to click on it. Now when you click on it, this gives you the message that was sent to you, and above this message I have this email address. This is the email address that pushed this particular message to my inbox. Therefore, below this email address, you can see we have something called to me, and I have the email addresses of those who have received these messages. So if I click on this drop down arrow, you can see that we have this description here. We have from, which is the email address that sent this particular message, and when you come to we have CC. Because we did not use the to field, we use the CC option, and when you look at the CC option, we have this to email address that we typed into the CC field, and this gives you description of the message about the recipient who has received this particular message. So the carbon copy allows you to identify all the recipients of a particular sent message, and that is how the carbon copy works. So let me log into the other email address and see how it works over there. Now I have logged into the other email address, and this is the interface, and when I move to the inbox tab, I have 9 message which is unread, and I want to identify the current message that was sent to me, and this is the current message that says best tutorials. This is the short statement that was typed in the subject field. So I'm going to have a once click on it. Now when you click on it, you are going to have this window that gives you the description about the message, and also to identify those who have received this particular message, I'm going to click on this drop down arrow, and you can see I also have the option to see the recipient of this message. So you can see we have these 2 recipient address that we type in the CC field. So this is how the carbon copy works. It allows you to see the recipient of a particular received message. So let's go back and see how the BCC works. Now let's click on the compose button once again, and this time around we are going to choose the BCC, and we are going to type the email address in this field and see how this will also be illustrated to us in our received window. Now we've typed the recipient address in the blank carbon copy field. Let's give a short statement, and let's write a simple message. Now I am done with my composing, so I'm going to click on the send button. Now this message has been sent to my recipient of this particular message. So I'm going to log into my other account and see if I have received this message, and see how it's going to be displayed in my email interface. Now this is my email account interface, and when you click on the inbox tab, I have a new message received here, which is the computer facts, the short statement that was typed in the subject field. So I'm going to have a once click on it. Now when you click on this, we have this sender email address here, and we have the to BCC also located here. And if you click on the drop down arrow, what happens is that you are going to see only one recipient address in this field. Therefore, this will not allow me to see if any other recipient has received this particular message. And this is how the BCC works. Let's log into the other email account. Now I also have this new message received here, and when I click on it and click on this drop down arrow, I also have only this recipient address. Therefore, the important part of this BCC, it does not allow you to see any recipient of this particular message. You only have your message received to your inbox and your email address. So any other person who has received this message through the BCC option will also not be able to identify if the message has been sent to any other person. So the BCC and the CC, these are the difference in our email account interface. Hope this video was helpful. Please give it a like and consider to subscribe, and see you in the next video.